Model deployment is the method by which we integrate a machine learning model into an existing production environment in order to start using it to make practical business decisions based on data. Understanding this, we have come up with this tutorial on model deployment with Heroku, where we will learn how to deploy our final model using the Heroku platform.
Before we get started, I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy, a free initiative by Great Learning. You can access over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on trending high demand domains absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion. Check out the link in the description of the video below. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you do not miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing. So make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or suggestions, and I'll respond to your comments.
This is a case study which I would be using it. This is to predict the salary. Just 2 minutes we'll spend on what the data set is. WHO is a specialized agency of the UN which is concerned with the world population health. Based upon the various parameters, WHO allocates budget for various areas to conduct various campaign initiatives to improve healthcare. Annual salary is an important variable which is considered to decide budget to be allocated for an area. Okay. Now this is the data which we have it. I'll quickly move on to the model which was created. I will not spend time in terms of discussing how the model was created. Objective of this data set is based on these independent variables, you are expected to predict whether the salary would be less than equal to 50K or it will be greater than 50K. So all these variables will work as an independent variable. This is a dependent variable. As the dependent variable class is binary, we are using logistic as one of the things. Now what we'll try doing it is, we will try to deploy this in a cloud. We will try to deploy this on a cloud platform, which is Heroku. As I said, Heroku is a platform as a service which enables to deploy, build, run, and operate the application entirely on a cloud. Okay. Now, how does an Heroku platform looks like? This is what the Heroku is. Okay. The first thing which you have to do is, let me just show you the first part of it. Herein I've already logged in. So if I just say Heroku login, this is the first page which you get it, right? Because I'm already logged in. That's why it's giving you this as an option. Otherwise, it will show you login here. Okay. Create a login in Heroku platform. Now, this is a free platform which is available, right? You don't have to pay anything. As I said, this is a simple application. If you want to deploy, you really don't have to pay anything. You can create a login which is free of cost. The first thing which you'll do it, once you've created a login, you have to create a new application, right? For creating a new application, it's very simple. You have to just follow the instruction which an Heroku is giving you. What I have done here is I have created an application which I'm calling it as an adult salary prediction. Okay. First time when you create this application, this is a blank application. Now, this application can be deployed in two different ways. You can create a repository on GitHub. Okay. Now, I'll just show you why I'm saying you can use this as a repository. Let me just go back here. Once you are into an application, you select it, you have an option here as a deploy. Okay. Now, once you get into a deploy, these are the three options which it will show you. Which means I can deploy adult salary prediction application, which is blank for the first time when I created it, using a GitHub. Now, what will GitHub do? I would have created a folder like this on a GitHub, right? What is the use of a GitHub? GitHub is an environment which is available if there are multiple developers who are working on it. if all of them can refer to the code which is available in a GitHub, and they can work on that code, they can edit the code and all, right? So what Heroku allows you is, if you have an application which has been created through multiple users, through multiple developers, and assuming the application has been deployed on a GitHub, because GitHub is a very common platform which is being used by all the developers nowadays. So Heroku by default assumes that you have a model, or you have the .pkl file along with the remaining user interface is available on a GitHub. So you can actually create an application through the GitHub, or Heroku has a client level interface, right, which is a CLI which is available. Through the CLI, you can actually deploy the application, which is very similar to deploying it through a GitHub, right? Or you can use a CLI application. Now, when you want to use a CLI application, Heroku requires to download a package which is a Git. What is Git? And before I end the session, I'll show you certain links also from where you can get some additional information. What is Git? It is nothing but a version control and software which is available, right? So Heroku by default requires a Git package. So what you need to do is you need to download the Git from Google. So it's simple. You have to just go there, search. I have a Windows environment, so I'll say Git for Windows, and I'll get to see an executable file, right? Once you have created, once you have downloaded the Git and executed it, now you can use an Heroku CLI environment, right? I'll show you the CLI environment right now. GitHub will exactly follow the same path. The difficult part is the CLI, because herein you have to write the commands. Through the GitHub, those commands automatically gets executed. Okay. So the first thing, create a login. Second, create a new application. For a new application, just follow the platform instructions. Third is you download the Git and use the Heroku CLI to deploy the application. Now, what this requires is to create two different files. The first file is a proc file, and there is another file which I'll just show you is a configuration file. Okay, so Heroku platform deployment requires you to create two additional files. One is a proc file and the second is a configuration file. What is the proc file? Proc file requires you to provide this as a command. Gunicon is a web user interface, right? The way you have a Flask, which was a WSGI, which is a web server gateway interface. Similarly, Gunicon is a WSGI environment for Heroku. Okay, so you have to say web Gunicon, and then you have to provide these two arguments, app::app. What is this app? This is the name of the .py file. So remember, what I have created, the file name was app.py. So hence I have provided the name as app here. The second is through which you have initiated the Flask. So if you go back here, this is the name you have given when you have initiated the Flask. So hence my proc file will read app::app. Please remember, this proc file which you will create should necessarily have P as a capital and should not have any extension. Even if you have created the file using a notepad, remove the .txt extension from the file. Okay. Third step is you create a configuration file which is known as a requirements.txt. This file necessarily should have an extension as .txt. R is in small case. Now what this file contains is the exact version of the libraries through which you have created the model. Okay. What Heroku needs? As I said, Heroku is a platform, right? For your model to run, when we went onto the Flask, right? When I went onto the Anaconda prompt, this Anaconda prompt already had a Python environment, right? this already had the packages which I required, which is a NumPy, Pandas, or Flask, or Unicorn, or whatever. This already has those packages available. When I'm using Heroku, Heroku is a platform which is available for deploying any kind of an application. So how will Heroku know that what I'm giving it to him as a .pkl file is a Python file which has certain built-in packages which are available? So whatever you have used in the model creation or using the app file, all these libraries you will have to provide it either as a double equal to sign or as a greater than sign, right? So when I say Flask double equal to 1.1.1, which means load the Flask, which is 1.1.1, right? So this configuration file or the requirement file will carry the version of the library package which you have it. How do you know the version? You can go on to the Python and you can figure out the version which you have it, right? So this is the third requirement. You have to create a requirements.txt file. Both these files, which is the prop file and the requirement.txt, should be created in the same directory where you have the main application. So remember, I had the main application in the Flask directory. So I have these two files created there. Then in the step 4, what I will do is I will go on to the Anaconda prompt and I will go on to the directory which I needed, which is a Flask directory, and execute these commands. Okay, I'll just show you these commands which are available on a Heroku platform, because we are doing a installation using a CLI. These are the commands which you have to execute, right? First, you have to do a Heroku login. I'm already logged in. Then you have to say Heroku git clone -a. This is the name of the application. So adult salary prediction is the name of the application. So that's why in my login, it is by default showing me this is a command. So what I'm doing is I am creating a clone of this application. So what this command does is it actually creates a directory by this name, which will work as a clone. Then I move on to this directory, right? Once I move on to this directory, I'll say git add dot. Git add dot means Git, I told you, is a version control software. Git add dot will add all these files which I had in a library before that. So I have an adult salary prediction library which is available here because I have already added. What you see here is it creates exactly the structure which you had in Flask. You have the templates, you have adult flask.pkl, app.py, prop file, requirement.txt, right? And then you say commit. Commit means these are the new files which you should consider for the application. Once you say commit, it will give you a URL which is the name of the application and herokuapp.com. This URL, even you can run it right now on your machine. Okay. So once I go on and type this URL, I'll exactly get the same thing. So the difference between this and the earlier one which I showed you was the earlier one was locally available. This was deployed on a local host. It was locally available on my machine. This is a URL which anybody can use it. And once you enter the input here, so let me add the values here 40. Let's call this as 12. Married. Let's just leave this here as it is. 999, 88, 66, submit. Okay, so exactly the process is same. It is now executing the model and rendering the input which I have given it, and will give me the result back onto the result file which I created. Fair enough? So this is how you deploy a model using an Heroku platform. Let's just go back one more time. Create a login, create a new application, if you want to deploy it using a CLI, download a Git, create a file by the name procfile, which will have this as an entry. Create a requirement.txt file, which will have name of all the libraries and the packages which have used it when I created the model. Or this is basically setting the Python environment, which by default, when you were executing on an Anaconda, you had it. Then you execute these commands, and you will have a URL which can be used by anybody. Okay. These are some references or links which you can use, which will give you a little more information. Please note that these are not the only links which are available, but these are the ones which I thought was good for you to get started on. All these terms or the environment or the platform which you have used, like Unicorn, Class, Kipling, and okay. So this is how you deploy a model.
In case of FB auto tagging features, which architecture is used?
Okay. FB auto tag, which I showed you, was actually a mechanism of collecting the user input. What is Facebook auto tag? Facebook auto tag is, it is tagging the like which you have done it, so that whenever a new picture or whenever a new image is being put in, it gives you a suggestion saying an image of something like this was already given and you have tagged it. It is a kind of a recommendation engine which tells you what you have already done in the past, and hence it is giving you a recommendation for you to probably take an action. Right? Now, auto tag, you can consider this as a interface or a user input which is given, right? Whichever image is being tagged, that becomes a value for a variable, right? That is a input value for the model to be built, right? This is not any deployment architecture. This is, rather than creating a user interface, Facebook collects the user input through this auto tag feature. Okay, it is a method of collecting the user input.
What is that RB parameters in pickle.load?
Okay, so these are the read and the write. Okay, when I am saying I am reading the bytes, right? So because I'm opening this as a read file, so I'm saying RB. When I am writing it, I'm saying WB. So when I have to write the file, it is WB. When I have to read the file, it's R.
Yeah. So the next question is, can we remove Heroku app name from the URL, or does that come default?
By default, you will get it because you have deployed it on a Heroku. So by default, you will get Heroku app as the as part of the URL, right? And why am I getting Heroku app? Because I have used a demo version. If you are using a free version of Heroku app, then by default you will get it. If you are a paid user, then it gives you a option of defining your own URL, defining your own com. Like I can say anjana.com, something like that, right? But because I'm using a free version, so by default it will come as Heroku app.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Anjana, how can we refresh same model with the new data?
Yeah, so it's very simple. Let's assume this is the way I have created it. I will just go back, paste. I have the screen back. You can give the user input again, right? And you can have this feature being created in an HTML page also, because I have created an HTML page so that it can just allow one user interface. So I can just copy this URL again and again. Otherwise, in a HTML page, you can create a link which says previous. So from a result page, I'll go back to the previous page, which is this income section.
Could you please recommend a production architecture?
production architecture depends on what exactly you want to use, which type of a deployment architecture you want to use. So if you just go back, I showed you 4 different ways in which an application could be deployed. Okay. Now, if you have, let's go back onto this one. Now, most of the enterprise-wide organization, they actually use the 4th environment, which is a standalone scoring engine, which means you have a separate staging, you have a separate production environment available, wherein till the time the model is tested and is stable, it is not moved onto the staging platform. Okay, it's like any other software deployment architecture which you use it, depending on what your organization can afford. Some of the organizations who really do not want to invest too much on the hardware, they have a partition being created from a train and a staging environment, and then they have a separate production environment. Some organizations have a separate staging, separate production, separate train environment. Right? Depending on what your organization can afford, you can have the hardware infrastructure being deployed there. However, for a model, what you need is 3 stages, which is where the model is deployed, where the model is staged, and where it moves into a production. Now, all these 3 stages can lie on the same hardware through a partition. It can lie on a cloud. It can lie on multiple hardware. So that based on what your organization can do.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Anjana. Moving ahead, the next question that I have is, how are metrics on model performance collected after deployment?
Okay. After deployment, you do not correct the matrices. I guess this individual is probably talking about the streaming environment. So what is done there is, let's first talk about the static environment. I have created a model. I'm happy with the performance which I got, right? That's why we create multiple models. So let's assume on this data set, I created a model using Logistate. I was not happy with the performance. I decided to move on to decision tree, or I decided to move on to random forest, right? So there are different modeling techniques which I have used it. The reason why I use different modeling techniques was to ensure that the model which I get is the best. I'm satisfied with the performance of the model, and that becomes, if I can use the word, a static model. Right? I have the model which is available, all the user input which I get it, I keep giving that to a model and I get an output. That is why we say every model has a life. Because in this dynamic environment, it is assumed that within 3 months, your model will not give you the expected result. And that's why we say every 3 months as a norm, every 3 months or 3 to 4 months, you need to change the model. Okay? This is what we spoke about, a static environment, where the model has been created, we were happy with the performance, and we're done with it. Let's look at the third type, which is a pattern 3, wherein now a new application comes in. You have given that new application as an input, right? Now this new application, based on the model which is already available, has given you predicted value. Now let's assume I'm talking about a lone default for an argument's sake, right? I'm using a simple example so that we're able to correlate. So now this application, when I take it through a model, tells me Anjana will default on the loan. Now, Anjana is yet to default on the loan, right? The event has yet to happen, but the model has predicted that she will default on the loan. Now, this input will go back to my model, wherein all the parameters related to Anjana are being fed to the train again, and the output is assumed to be she'll default. And the model is retrained on that environment. Okay, so imagine, and that is why we said the system management difficulty is very hard here, because the new data which has come in is fed back to the train environment. The model is created, the performance is checked. If there are multiple models which needs to be worked on, or whichever model gives you the best performance, all that is done, and then I have the model ready for the next step. Okay, so if you are talking about a third kind of an environment Then the environment is dynamic, wherein I have the new user input which is coming in is fed back onto the trained data set to recreate the model. And as far as the performance matrices are concerned, the performance metrics on this new data set is checked exactly in the similar way, the way you would have done on the first time.
Thanks for the answer, Ms. Anjana. The next question is, in Heroku platform, is Git package necessary in order to deploy machine learning model?
It is, because Git is a freely available version control environment. It is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. The question is, when we have to store the data in database MySQL, is there any change in the Heroku, or do we follow the same steps?
It is exactly the same steps, because from a SQL, you will have to extract the data into a Python first, right? I am assuming you will write those commands which will extract the data from MySQL so that it comes into a Python. And once it is into a Python, you can execute any command. So if I understood the question rightly, and if I have not, please raise it again. What I'm assuming is, herein I'm reading the file, right? adult.csv. Similar to that, you will write some couple of lines of code which will connect with the MySQL, pull out the required information from MySQL, and that information which you have pulled out, let's assume you have used some select clause, some aware condition, whatever, that data set which you have pulled out, you will read it and store it in some object, right? Once you have created an object, it is like any other model which you created. Heroku as a platform is for a deployment. When you're talking about a MySQL, you are extracting the information for creation of a model, right? So once you've created a model, Heroku would remain the same.
So, okay. The next question that I have is, could you explain how Flask got input parameters when we clicked on the submit option?
When you clicked on the submit option, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just go back onto, this is little technical. I will not really go into a lot of details, but this is an adult.html file which I have it. So what I have done is I have set an input type as a submit and a value as submit, right? This is what I have given into the input form. Now, just go back onto the app.py. I have rendered this template, right? Once I have rendered it, I am doing a predict. Now, what will it predict? It will look into the values which I have given as an input into an HTML, right? Based on the values which I have given into an HTML, it will do a predict, and the output which I have is being checked. If the output is 1, it is income more than 50K. Otherwise, it is less than 50K. In short, this entire thing is happening through the libraries too, which I have it, which is a request and a render template. Okay, this file would be available with an individual. Probably you can have a look at it. So what you require is a request and a post, right? So I have a request being handled through the request package, and I have a post through which I render the template. So this is how it is happening.
All right. Thank you. The next question is, will the test dataset change after prediction using new data?
Will the test data set change? I think he's talking about the third kind of an architecture, right? I guess I'm assuming he's talking about third kind of an architecture, because otherwise the test the model was static, right? Yes, the test data set will change because now your train has changed. Train has the new records which have come in, so hence there is every possibility for a test to change. So answer is yes, it will change if you're talking about pattern thing.
Thank you. Ms. Anjana, can we give multiple input like batch to prediction page instead of single value?
You have to store these multiple inputs into a DB. So you're basically talking about pattern 2. Otherwise, using an HTML page, it will become a little difficult. You can do it. Answer is not no. But normally, if you have multiple inputs, then it is given through a shared DB, or you have some other user interface which is available, which allows you to have multiple records being stored.
All right. Okay. So, Miss Anjana, can you explain what is meant by so-so for the system management difficulty?
Yeah. So is like it's not very difficult, it's not very easy. And I'll tell you why. Pattern 2, if you look at it, it's a shared DB, which means it's a offline environment, right? If you understand the online and offline, offline means assume I have a computer which is lying somewhere, which has a database, right? I take some input and I have some mechanism of giving those inputs into that computer, right? So I'm not disturbing that computer at all. So that computer has the model for a prediction. So it's very easy because it's not online. In pattern 1, why we call it as a so-so? Because you have the train environment which is static, right? It is a batch. Through using the historical batch data, the model was trained. Now you have on the fly. So imagine here, when I get onto this URL, right? What is being dynamic right now or what is online is only this form and the model prediction, right? But the model which has been created is offline. So from an environment perspective, and assume that I have the Heroku platform which is for multiple users. From the environment perspective, the only thing which I have to manage is to ensure that the user was able to enter the input and they are able to get the output. So that is why we call it as so-so. It's neither very easy, it's not very easy like a shared DB, and it's not very difficult like a streaming environment. So that is why it's a medium from a management perspective. That's why the word so-so has been used.
All right, that was helpful. Ms. Anjana, the next question, or probably the last question that I have for the session is, how important is model deployment for a data scientist?
It depends on your role. Okay? If your role is to develop the model, ensure the model gives you the best performance, then you as a data scientist is not required to do a deployment. Let me put it that way. If you are a data scientist, and I am assuming you are with 2 to 3 years of experience, the chances that you will be put into a model deployment team is almost zero, right? I'm just telling you based on my experience. Doesn't mean that you will never ever be put in there, but if you are an individual with 2 3 years of experience and you are a data scientist responsible for doing a model development, the chances are you will not be put into a deployment, because deployment, as you can see, you are actually making the model move from a staging to a production environment is a very, very critical job. So depending on what role you are, depending on where you land up, it is not necessary that every data scientist will be into a model. But you should know how a model is.
Thanks for the answer, Ms. Anjana. Okay, I have another question, or two more questions rather. Sample project deployment using Flask is an example of pattern 1.
It is an example of pattern 1, correct?
Okay, all right. Okay, the next question is, okay, so getting results for existing Oracle DB or a cloud data in batches falls under shared DB, or REST API can also be used?
REST API can also be used depending on how many user inputs are being given. If you are collecting multiple inputs in a batch, then you are talking about a shared DB. Otherwise, it's REST API can be used.
All right. Ms. Anjana, can we use Heroku platform for streaming for pattern 3?
Yes, but that's a licensed version.
I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy, a free initiative by Great Learning. You can access over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on trending high demand domains absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion. Check out the link in the description of the video below. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell so that you do not miss out on any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing. So make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or suggestions, and I'll respond to your comments.